Hello YouTube, welcome back to another Motocamp adventure video review. This is on the BMW GS Rally Pro gloves. So let's start off with the sort of philosophy of why I bought these gloves and what I use them for. I was riding around with some full gauntlet gloves in some kind of intense heat and doing off-roading and whatnot with them, and they're great for getting to the places that I would be riding off-road, with the highway stints I'd have to do living in San Francisco. I have to ride sometimes 2 to 3 hours to even start touching dirt. So for that, these are good. I mean, even in hot weather, they were fine. They breathe well. They're Gore-Tex lines. So, but as soon as I started getting off-road, I was like, it's just too much. I mean, when you're going, 10 miles per hour through some like really kind of gnarly stuff, it starts getting, there's just too much going on, and you don't really get a whole lot of airflow. And so I started using my mountain bike gloves I'd actually bought, and I switched I threw these in my tank bag, switched to these when I started going off-road. But then I realized that I would start going on-road again and then hop off-road again, and that's kind of the nature of dual sport riding and adventure riding, right? So, and I wasn't going to keep changing between the one and the other and stop my friends every single time I needed to change my gloves. So I ended up going with these, and these kind of fill a perfect role in between those two. I'm usually a long gauntlet guy. Like, I like to have a long gauntlet to go over my sleeve, and just for the added protection that adds, right? And so it took me a while to really warm up to these and kind of get over the fact that they're not a long gauntlet. Now, with that said, purpose-built, that makes sense. That these are supposed to be sort of a short cuff glove. And to have anything long gauntlet for this type of glove would be kind of irrational, I think. I have about 5,000 miles experience riding with these now, I think. That might be sort of a conservative estimate. I wear these kind of often now, even just for like commuting and whatnot, because I just like them so much. One of the main reasons I like these over my other gloves is you get a lot more dexterity, and you don't feel like you have these massive kind of gloves on, even though those climbing gloves aren't too bad. They still got the waterproof liner and everything, and they're still a little almost too much. So these gloves fill that role really well. They're not going to be waterproof, obviously, but the major benefit over the major benefit of these gloves over the mountain bike gloves is obviously that you have a leather palm and you have a hard knuckle protector. And so this is a pretty beefy knuckle protector, and it was honestly kind of annoying at first. I didn't really like the idea of it. Basically, it was one of the major things holding me back from buying them. And I kind of got over it, and I was like, all right, I'll just try them out. And sure enough, I mean, they're fine. I mean, I understand why they're there. It's kind of, if you are sliding on your back, this keeps your hand off the ground. That makes sense to me. I kind of accept it now. It does still look really goofy to an extent, but function-wise, they are great. You also get you also get a super fabric material. It's totally soft, just no hard palm slider or anything, but yeah, so you get a super fabric palm slider material, and what that does is if you go down and you try to catch yourself, it'll slide your palm versus put all that energy into your wrist, which could definitely break it. So, and you also have some super fabric material on the pinky and ring finger. I'm not sure. I mean, I guess maybe those fingers sometimes drag. I don't know. I don't know why they specifically did that. There's probably a good reason to it. On the knuckle protector itself, you actually have some ventilation going on here, and it actually works way better than you'd think. But yeah, I mean, the knuckle protector itself is still pretty flexible. It's like a day or two to really break in, to really feel okay. But once I did that, they've been totally fine. I don't even really think about it. The Velcro seems to be holding up pretty well. They use a micro Velcro. That's the one thing I could see probably deteriorating first out of everything. I mean, everything has been held together pretty well. All the stitching looks pretty well done. You seem to only have a single stitch around most of the fingers, but again, I don't see these really falling apart. So I used to work at a BMW dealership, and that's when I got these gloves. And Generally speaking, I like BMW gear. It might be a little pricey sometimes, but you usually get what you pay for with them. And yeah, with that said, I mean, there were some gloves that I would get warranty swap back. You know, sometimes manufacturers of gloves, you know, might miss a point or two. You know, something will fall apart, like Velcro panels will start coming undone, like the stitching and whatnot. So I did see some warranty swap gloves, but none of these. I've actually never seen any one of these gloves come back for a warranty swap. And I was there for a year and a half working there. And we have a pretty good amount of people coming in and out of that place in San Francisco. So, I mean, I think that these things hold up pretty well. One of the huge features I really love about these gloves is the capacitive leather fingertips. This should pretty much be on every new glove ever, because this is the best thing to happen to motorcycle gloves in a while. And it sounds stupid, like why would you want to use your cell phone with gloves on, especially on a motorcycle? Well, first off, you're not really using your cell phone while you're riding. At least I hope you're not. But the idea is that like it's way easier to just like if you pull over the side of the road, you got to do some navigation or whatnot on your phone. You know, you got to tap the screen and start doing everything here. So, I mean, you can see right now, like it's working every single time. There's some on the thumb here as well. And so once I'll unlock my screen off camera so you don't know my password. So I can zoom in and out with my thumb and index finger, and that's pretty important when navigating. It's also just really convenient for when I get off my bike and want to take a photo and not have to take off my gloves every single time, or if I have to answer a cell phone call and I end up you know, pressing the answer button on here versus my comm system or something. Yeah, I mean, it's a super convenient little thing, and I would never think about it until I actually have it, and it makes a massive difference. So with the long cuff glove, that actually, you know, you'll have a little bit of space between your jacket, most likely, and the glove itself. That kind of actually helps a little bit of air go into the jacket through the cuff, and that helps a lot with ventilation in terms of like hot weather riding, especially if you're riding slow speeds off-road. So that's actually kind of welcome, and I didn't really think about that when I was looking at these versus, you know, a long gauntlet glove. So like all BMW gear, these come with a 2-year warranty. That's, I think, partially what you pay for with BMW gear. And warranty swapping anything is pretty easy with BMW. You basically just go into your dealership that you bought it from, hopefully. If you don't, you can bring your receipt from wherever you got it to. So definitely try to save your receipts if you buy any BMW gear. And pretty much go into any dealership with that receipt, and you'd be able to swap out the gear. They might not have it particularly in stock, or if it's really old gear that's discontinued, they might not be able to do it. So but for the most part, you know, I've never really seen any of these come back for a warranty swap, which is pretty amazing. Because even some of the best gloves they had, you know, eventually something here or there might fail. Like usually it was kind of something stupid, like a little Velcro piece or whatnot. But so these retail for $99 at the moment. I think that's pretty reasonable, honestly, for what they are. If you look at like a Climb Dakar glove, I think they're about the same price, and I think these are probably a better glove. In fact, I think these are probably the best glove in the role that they play. I don't know that I would ever look for anything different than this in terms of short cuff, sort of in between on-off road gloves. So I think you'd be pretty pleased if you buy one of these, or you buy a set of these rather. And I highly recommend them. I mean, I have been loving them ever since I got them. So that's your full review. Sorry about the awkward transition here. The battery died on my camera, so, well, here's some sneak peek footage from my next video review, where I'm actually wearing these gloves in the field. They performed really well here and were perfect for transitioning between road and off-road. I hope this gave you a good overview and idea of what these gloves are about. I'm going to say this next bit solely because I love my local dealership and I used to work there. If you plan on buying a pair, you should get them from BMWmotorcycle.com. That's a singular motorcycle, which is a San Francisco dealership website, or you can call them directly at 415-503-9888 and contact the parts department, and you can buy them the old school way. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my videos. If you like this video, please press that like button so I know that you guys want more content like this down the road. If you're not already subscribed, consider doing so if you want to see more. Thanks for joining me on another Motocamp adventure review, and ride safe out there.